The great basketball coach, John Wooden, had a saying that said, "Be quick, don't hurry." My name is Jeff Clark. I've been a driver with PTI for about 16 years, a little over 16 years, been driving almost 35 years. Consider myself to be a professional driver, not just a driver. And you'll see me always saying professional driver, and that's what we are. So I also got to work with Freightliner for about 5 years, where I got to work with some of the best fuel mileage drivers around and compete with them on some other sites that we competed on, fuel mileage, and traded our secrets that we did for better fuel mileage. The truck I have now is a 2020 new Cascadia. I got it with about 220,000 miles on it. I put about 225,000 miles on it. And that 225,000 miles, I've averaged 9.5 miles per gallon with it. I want to be a profitable driver. I want PTI to be a profitable company. And the idea of the old rule of thumb with one truck, if you could save 1/10 of a mile per gallon, you're saving $1,000 per year. You know, we have 1,000 trucks. It can save a lot of money. And one of the ways we can be better for the environment now is to reduce our fuel consumption and improve our miles per gallon. And I also believe that there's a big safety component in driving for fuel mileage. Almost everything in my list there is also good for safety. And we all benefit from not running into stuff. And I'm going to start out by cherry picking idle time. And when I was young, a long time ago, we used to idle trucks. The trucks were different now, but the components are better. Mostly they start easier than they used to. We used to idle them because starting was harder on a truck. And the fuel is different now than it used to be. The oil is different. Used to be we changed oil every 10,000 miles and we dump the oil in the fuel tank and burn it through the fuel tank. You can't do that now. Now we have synthetic blends that we run, and oil changes have gone to 50,000 miles and are going to 75,000 miles. The oil is just different, circulates quicker than it used to. It's just a lot easier on the truck, and idling is just, there's no reason to idle, and it damages the truck, and that's not even before we start talking about the after treatment system. So there's old school and there's just old. Look, if you're gonna get out of your truck, open your doors and close your doors, that's fine. If you get out of your truck, if you're unloading, shut the truck off. I know there's gonna be times when it's really cold or really hot, you're gonna have to run your truck, understandable. But if it's 40 degrees out, put your coat on, you know. Do your things to eliminate idling, because the more you idle the truck, the more mechanical issues you're gonna have, because trucks are designed to run about 190 degrees and they idle maybe 150-ish, and it just doesn't clean out the after treatment system. And so you want to reduce your idle time. And you know, you can do the little things like at night, pre-cool your bunk or preheat, pre-cool your bunk. So say you're going to shut down at 9 o'clock, blast that air conditioning in the bunk, but starting at 8 o'clock, and you might not have to idle the truck overnight. So do the little things, park in the shade, all the old school things. Try to reduce your idle time. And I know you have to idle sometimes, but just reduce it as much as possible. Next up, I want to talk about speed. Our trucks are going at 65, and there are times I run 65. Usually I run 62. I run as fast as I need to, not as fast as I want to. And to me, running at 62 is just less stressful. My general rule of thumb is for every 2 miles an hour you set up your cruise control, you gain about 1 mile an hour in actual time saved. For instance, I run to Minneapolis from Appleton quite a bit. It's a 300-mile run. You'd think you'd save 13 or 14 minutes, but in reality, you save about 6 or 7 minutes by going 65 versus 62. And it really does, decreasing your speed really helps increase your following distance. And to me, following distance is like an unwritten key to fuel mileage. Because what you're really trying to do is try to manage your momentum. The old truck driver saying back in my day was a good driver never uses his brakes except to stop. Well, that's not really 100% rule, but if you start to put that rule into place, it starts to help you manage your momentum. And by increasing following distance 7 seconds It increases your sight lines too. So you're following distance to 7 seconds. You can increase your sight line distance to 15 seconds. So you want to be looking 15 seconds ahead of you all the time. Plus, today's cruise control is more than just cruise control. We have a passive cruise control system where if you set it at 62, it's going to generally keep you about 62, but it will let it cruise down to 48 or up to 67, depending on the settings you have in your truck. And it's also, we have GPS predictive cruise. What GPS predictive cruise is, it's always thinking out about 1.25 miles or 2 kilometers ahead, planning on the hills, because everything is you're trying to manage your momentum. Like you'll notice when you get to the top of the hill, your truck will slow down a little bit before it goes down the hill and picks up speed, and it will shift into basically what we used to call Georgia overdrive. Now it does an e-coast system in the Freightliner. So it'll actually coast down the hill and you'll gain speed without engaging the clutch. So let that system work, and the more you let that system work, the better your fuel mileage is going to be. It also has adaptive cruise control systems in it. So our settings of the company is 3.6 seconds. So when you get 3.6 seconds behind the vehicle in front of you, it will follow that vehicle 3.6 seconds and stay there. And you don't want to do that because that truck might not be driving for maximum fuel mileage like we're trying to do. And thinking ahead, one of the things that's a big safety concern, but it's also a fuel mileage concern, is your lane changing. You want to minimize your lane changes. And this is again, by keeping your sight lines better, and you change your lanes as soon as it's practical. Not as soon as possible, as soon as practical. You don't want to be waiting till the last minute, because then you're going to have to hit the brakes or speed up or something to change lanes. And you know, the more in a hurry you are, the more chances you have having an accident. I also want to talk a little bit about your stops, and it goes to planning. And you're always planning ahead. It's better to stop once and do 2 things than stop twice and do 1 thing. You're going to try to minimize your stops. Rest areas are generally better than truck stops. If we need to fuel, and we have limited places we could fuel that. So one of the things I try to do is I try to fuel at the off-peak hours, either on a Sunday or after normal business hours or before normal business hours, because you're not waiting in line to get fuel. And a lot of this, you're trying to be efficient. And the more efficient you are, the less you have to hurry. The great basketball coach, John Wooden, had a saying that said, be quick, don't hurry. And so truck driving, what I'm trying to tell you is be efficient. And the more efficient you are, the less you have to hurry, because hurrying is always bad. By leaving early, you're not in a hurry, and hurry is the worst thing you can do in a truck. For fuel mileage, for safety, and for everything itself. So just kind of remember, you know, we don't idle the truck. We don't need to idle the truck. Keep your speed off the governor. Increase your follow distance to 7 seconds. Minimize your lane changes and plan your stops. And if we do that, we'll all increase our fuel mileage. Thank you.